Welcome back to the End Zone 2, presented by OCH Sports Medicine Services. Probably the biggest game of the week. Alabama hosting 22nd ranked Georgia. Let's bring in our own playmaker, Freddie Millens. And Freddie, Alabama had one heck of a game against Arkansas last week, but does the fact that they let that 21-point lead slip a little, does that concern you at all?
When you win a game of that magnitude, the main thing, you came out as a winner. We were not expected to win. Arkansas was ranked pretty high, and we came out with the victory. We gave up some late points at the end, but the main thing, I think Coach is going to tell those guys, we came out winners, and we're going to use that momentum going into this Georgia game.
All right, and the Alabama offense has been nothing short of spectacular, especially against Arkansas, putting up 41 points. How does Alabama's offense match up against that Georgia defense, who is always really, really solid?
Well, I take it a week back before we played Arkansas. We played Vanderbilt, and one of our backs ran for almost 200 yards. When we have a balanced scheme, a system like that where we can throw it or run it, as a defensive coordinator with a week to prepare, you don't know what to prepare for. So going into this game against Georgia, we have a lot of advantages.
And people talk about the Alabama defense before the season, that maybe that could be one of the weaker points on this team, but it actually has been one of the stronger points. How does Alabama's defense match up against Georgia's offense?
I think having faced a Heisman Trophy candidate in McFadden for Arkansas, a very experienced running backup in Jones, their backup for Arkansas, we have a lot of confidence going into this week. Like I said, this game, having beat Arkansas on the stage, on national television, we have a lot of expectations for the rest of the season. So things looking good against Georgia.
And Georgia's got one heck of a quarterback, too, in Matthew Stafford. Nick Saban raved about him in the press conference Monday. What does Alabama need to do against Matthew Stafford?
I think apply pressure, and apply pressure. It's going to be a sellout crowd. The fans are going to be wild. We know the outcome is going to be whoever plays the hardest is going to win. So as defensively, we have to set the tone, and hopefully we can rattle the quarterback early and come out as winners.
All right, let's bring Matt and John back into this. Matt, what do you think about the Crimson Tide versus Georgia this weekend?
Well, we'll go back a game kind of like Freddie did and look at that Arkansas game. In the early part of that game, the first quarter, the way Alabama jumped out to that huge lead, John and I were talking on the way here tonight, and we think that the atmosphere in that stadium at Bryant-Denny just kind of swallowed up that Arkansas team in the early part of that game. It was unbelievable. If you've ever been to a game there recently, you know what we're talking about. And you could just tell on television that Alabama had an extra bit of emotion and pep in their step being there in front of that crowd, and hence jumping out to a big, huge lead in the first part of the game. And so you look at Georgia, and they've got a young quarterback in Matthew Stafford, one of the most talented young guys and a great arm, but he's going to step into an atmosphere, the likes that he may not have seen yet when he goes to Bryant-Denny. If the game is in Athens, Georgia, maybe it's a little bit different story, but being in Tuscaloosa, you got to look at Alabama.
All right, John, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a crazy crowd there. College game day is there on Saturday. First road game for Georgia. It's going to be a tough place to play. I think Georgia will come to play, though. I think they'll be ready to play. It's going to be a good football game.
All right, guys, we're going to go to another break. Coming up on the End Zone 2, presented by OCH Sports Medicine Services. We're going to hear from our experts again and what their picks are for this week. Also, we're going to talk about what else is coming up this week when we come back.